Okay, we're ready to get started. I'm excited to be here. This is our tips and tools call that we do the fourth Tuesday of every month, except next month, oh no, I'm wrong. Never mind. We're all good. In any case, we're going to do tips and tools tonight, and we're doing something special tonight. Rather than me telling you some tips and tools, you get to have a new voice, and I'm excited for that. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Holly. And the reason I asked Holly to do this is, number one, she's just a great, concise presenter. She really is. And she was at our Indy and really took some great notes and really loved Donald Miller's The Story Brand. And I asked her if she would do a 20-minute tips and tools on how to get people to say yes and how to connect better with your customers. But just a little bit about Holly. She's been married to her husband, Richard, for 36 years, almost in June. She's got 4 of her own kids and 6 grandkids, and the ages are 18 months to 8 years old. How fun is that, Holly? You're so lucky. She's also worked as a diagnostic arborist with her sister, Leslie. Wave, Leslie, so everybody knows who you are. Yay, for 27 years. And I love this that you added, Holly, little known facts. She's been a soccer referee for 20 years. She's also a high school wrestling official for 15 years. Can you imagine being an official wrestling? It's not called a judge, it's called a umpire.
It's a referee.
It's a referee.
It's a referee.
Great. Great. And then she loves to camp, she loves to fish, she loves to get outdoors. But this is what she says about Juice Plus. I'm in Juice Plus because I've seen it work miracles in my family's life, and I love the opportunity to just share good health with people. That's my mission. So, Holly, I'm going to make you big on the screen, and here we go. And we'd love to hear from you tonight.
Oh, good. I'm so excited. This is fun. I literally burned up my pen just writing notes with Donald Miller. He was so amazing. And, you know, I don't know about anybody else, but when I hear somebody tell me something and I know Juice Plus can be helpful, I get so excited and I want to just talk to them and speak on them and share everything all at once. And that's not the wisest thing to do. And anybody else get totally excited? You just know that you know that you know, and you just want to just put it out there. So I find him really helpful. He does the whole story brand. And I'm going to share my screen. Come on. And from beginning. Okay. So I found some cool stuff. There we go, from Donald Miller. And he called it at the conference, the strategic power of getting attention. And what we need to do is ensure that we don't just try to get their attention, but draw them in a way that we have their attention. And he says, your customers aren't interested in you. I found this on the internet. I thought this was amazing. Customers, potential customers, aren't interested in you. They're interested in how you can help them. So if you come off going, oh, I have something that'll help, immediately there is just so much out there that they have to filter through. Everybody wants to sell something. Everybody has a magic formula. So we have got to find a way to draw them in and really get them interested by listening to them. So, oh my goodness, there we go. How to connect with potential customers. The first thing is when somebody mentions something, ask questions to uncover the customer's problems. You know, people love to talk about themselves and have somebody empathize. So start asking questions to understand what is it that they're struggling with when they mention something. Ask them, wow, how does it affect your daily life? What are you dealing with? And then you know what you do? You listen. Take those mental notes. Wow, what have you tried before? What kind of meds have you been on? And then you know what you do? You listen. And it's so hard because our brains are going, oh, I can tell them so much. I can tell them, I can share. But you have to ask them the questions. How long have you struggled with this problem? And then what you do is you listen. Then you ask a question. Well, do you have a plan to get better? Is there something that you're trying? Have you tried diet? And then you shut up and you listen. So what we need to do is really connect with them by drawing them into a conversation where they're doing the talking. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so slow your roll. Use those 2 ears. Nikki always says, I know everybody knows the answer. What does Nikki say? Become a master asker, right? Become the master asker. So Nikki's so good. Anybody who's ever been on the 3-way calls with her, she's so phenomenal. I've been able to watch Nikki when she's sitting, at a cocktail bar or something here in Reno and just really draw people out. She's a master asker. So I want to grow up to be Nikki. When we stop talking about their problem, they stop listening to us. So you're going to want them to really feel safe and like you are a listening ear and like you really are intent on knowing more about them. So the problem that they have, according to Don Miller, is that's the hook. You're sending out a hook. The more that we talk about their problem, the more interested they can become in a solution. So you're asking them about those, what have they tried? What have they been on? How long have they had it? Is it working? Do you feel better? All those things. If somebody has sick kids, well, the kids were sick all through first grade and second grade and third grade. So, you're finding out this information and finding out the patterns. When people feel that you care, they lean in when they're starting to feel optimistic about a solution. So you want them to get to the point where you're understanding where they're at. And they're kind of, once you start saying, wow, I know how you feel, I know what you're going through, or I identify with that, they become optimistic. Wow, maybe you did hear me. So you have to become the guide. The first thing you have to do is empathize with them. And you can't empathize with them unless you've really heard the problems that they're dealing with. Don't jump to conclusions, find out. So show them that you care and that you understand what they're going through. So that's when you can say, wow, I really understand how you feel. I felt the same way. Or, wow, I can't imagine how frustrating that must be. Nobody wants to live with that kind of pain. So maybe you haven't gone through the arthritis or whatever symptom, but you can empathize and say, wow, I've had other struggles. I don't know what that's like, but that's just got to be frustrating. They want to know that you heard them. So how about, wow, I've been there myself. I really understand how that feels. So you're going to get them to where they know that you heard them and you empathize. Then you can start talking about a solution to the problems. So some things are like, my kids used to be sick all of the time. And it wasn't until we discovered Juice Plus that they stopped being sick at home all the time, or I had to get them on Juice Plus so that I wouldn't get fired from work or whatever. Because I remember having a supervisor at work tell me, I understand you're a mommy, your child is sick. I get it. It's winter, but we can't have you be absent anymore. So, those kind of stories are powerful. I know right where you are. I remember being talked to and my job was in jeopardy because I had to stay home with kids. Or something like I used to suffer with, for me, the aches and pains of my back and things, I used to suffer with that, or my fingernails. Leslie has a customer who just raves about her fingernails. I too never had fingernails, but I understand how you feel. I don't struggle with that anymore because I discovered Juice Plus. How about I used to struggle with low energy? This is awesome. So how many people are excited about the Luminate? I mean, I used to struggle with low energy too. And you can put in, I couldn't make it through the day without going to Starbucks or whatever. But since I discovered Luminate, I don't have to deal with that afternoon slump anymore. I'm not fading away in the afternoon. So when you identify that they're struggling with something in particular, oh, you know what? I have to put down my shades. Sorry about that. I had the sun shining off my car window. Anyway, So learning more about them, what makes them tick, and really listen. So there is a 3-step plan for your prospect. And this is so that you can draw them in again. You're going to have to keep it simple. The minute you start confusing them, you lose. For me, I'm a big science head. I get excited about the research, but maybe 10% of the people get excited about the research. So I have to say, well, it's really well researched or whatever, and not confuse them with data and facts and trivial stuff. So keep the message simple, because if you confuse them, you will lose them, and we don't want to do that. So find out, say, would you be open? We all know that. We've been taught that for years. Would you be open to just watching a simple video that I send you? Because I can give you more information and then find out what you think. So pique their curiosity, make them go, wow, okay. So at this point, you've said it helped them, you've heard their problem, and now you're going to send them something simple, very easy. Invite them to an event. It can be a Zoom call, a 3-way call, that third-party affirmation with Nikki, or for me, Patty, is powerful because now they're hearing from somebody else. So invite them. I would love for you to connect with, or there is a great presentation that's going to be tomorrow night. So invite them. And then, and this is hard for a lot of people, this was hard for me. And Donald Miller said something that stung to the core. He says, you make the call to action. And I'm guilty of giving out the information and sending the video and following up a couple times and then getting discouraged and slinking away. But Donald Miller said, you have to ask for the sale, because if you cannot ask for the money, you lack confidence in the product. And that stung. That honestly stung. I'm like, I don't lack confidence in this product. I just don't want to be pushy. And the call to action is something where you have to really affirm what you've been telling them. So you can say, I really think that this would be a great decision for you. It sounds like you've tried so many other things. What about flooding your body with 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries? You're obviously seeking a solution. So affirm, this is a good decision. It sounds like you've tried everything else. Why don't you give this a chance? It might take 4 or 5 months to really start having an ease of your symptoms, but we know that it gets in the body and it does good things once it's there. And then there's a simple thing, and I love the card. I'm frustrated that it doesn't always work. I know I'm excited that it's being improved, the website, but I can help you place an order. I can put together a card for you, and then you can start experiencing the benefits by next week when your product gets here. So you're bringing them into that. So one part that Donald Miller talks about is having your one-liner. And I don't know how many, show of hands, how many people did their homework and got your little elevator one-liner that said, this is what I do and how I do it. I love it. So for me, it's, how people in a fast-paced, fast food world struggle to eat right. I help people to get whole food nutrition into the body so they can feel better and have more energy. I can get that off my tongue in 20 seconds and hopefully draw them in. So have those one-liners when people go, well, what is it that you do? I used to be a junk food addict. I started taking the product and it gave me 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries. And today I've lost 30 pounds and I crave salads. For me, it's like, my husband was addicted to the standard American diet. He started flooding his body with this nutrition, and he started craving weird things like salads and squash, which never happened in 25 years of marriage. So those little things to draw them in. I had the same problem. I was sleeping really poorly, but I started taking Juice Plus, and now I sleep 8 hours a night. Whatever your story is that you can identify with them, remember to hone in on their problems when you already know it. But if it's right off the bat, have that one-liner when people say, what is it you do? Or what's your other job? What's your side gig? Give them that one-liner. When you're pulling them out and learning and finding out what they're focused on and what their problem is, then you can say, you know what? I struggled with the same thing too. So Donald Miller says, identify the one thing that the prospect is really troubled with, the one thing. You don't want their laundry list, but what's that one big thing that they are really struggling with? And he says, get clear, don't get clever. Because if you try to get clever and creative, you want to keep it a very simple message and give them a call to action that really makes sense. So that's what I learned from Donald Miller, and I just thought it was brilliant.
Wow, Holly, if you can stop our screen share, I told you all she's a great trainer. You really are just a fabulous presenter, and it makes it fun and exciting, and I hope you all enjoyed it tonight. Anybody, just we've finished just slightly early. Does anybody have a question? Any questions?
No, the one comment I would have is that one-liner. I did my homework, but it's still at a business network meeting. We had that thing where someone says, well, what do you do? And then it's like, how do you do that? And I'm just like, I'm the speaker. You'll be learning about it. And Holly could just be like, wrap off that one-liner. So that's one of the things that I've discovered because, and I think all of us are this way. We didn't just see improvements with Juice Plus in one category. We've seen it, like for me, there's so many different categories, and that's where when you draw out from them, that you don't have to tell them every benefit you've ever experienced from Juice Plus.
Right.
So that's
Right.
one thing Donald Miller was so great at, is you hone into what their need is, and then you relate how that in your life kind of impacted.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Leslie, for
Holly.
that. So
I just have to say, wow, 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 Holly, that was incredible. And I was there and it was just like, I learned more and I was reminded more, and it was just such a good refresher. And like Nikki said, your training skills are just through the roof. So it was so good to hear you. You just shined.
Oh, thanks. Heidi, what's up?
Well, I just wanted to share and just say great training. Really, really fabulous, Holly. But
thank
I
you.
also wanted to share something that I was reminded of from this training that happened when we were at the leadership conference at lunch. And there was a couple of little things that just popped in my brain. One of them was when you're asked what it is you do, just saying right before you give your one-liner, that some people have problems with. I thought that was really great when I heard it. And then a leader put the icing on the cake at the end of it by saying, has your doctor ever shared that with you?
That's right. I
And
remember
I
that.
thought
That was
that
amazing.
was absolutely brilliant. If you ever going to say to someone, has your doctor ever shared Juice Plus with you? You can imagine they're going to be no. What's the first thing they're going to probably do when they see their doctor again, right?
why didn't you tell me about this?
Did you not hear it? Oh, right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good
Hey, it's
work,
late
Heidi.
here. It's
Good work.
9:20. Come on, give me a break.
Go get some
You know-
lemonade. All right.
I have a team member, Pam, and she said I had to make a list of all the benefits I got. And it's what, like Leslie said, we've all experienced so many benefits that the good news is you have this little pool to draw from, and I've never had an autoimmune disease, but I've seen my sister struggle with an autoimmune disease.
Yes.
And, I don't want to tell too many anecdotal stories, but I have a hard time not crying when I think about my sister's health now compared to 30 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
stunning.
All right, everybody, have a great Tuesday night. I'm just going to remind everybody, look ahead at what calls are coming up and just go through your head. Who can I invite to this and who can I invite to that? And if you start a week out looking at the flyers, it's not so overwhelming. The first thing I do when I see a flyer, is put the time and the flyer in my calendar so that if I want to get to it, it's already there. I don't have to go back and look for the flyer. And I actually put in the name of the flyer, the times, and I actually put in the, Zoom ID number. So I don't have to find the flyer. So just a thought for everybody. Everybody have a great week and we'll see you at our next call.
And if you
Bye,
know
everybody.
anybody who wants to come to Oregon, we have our regional coming up, and we still have room. So please come if you want to come, or if you know anybody up here near Portland or anywhere in Oregon, send them our
That
way.
sounds awesome.
All right.
I would love to go,
Thanks,
but I'm
buddy.
going to be suffering on a cruise. Sorry.